losses in the family from cancer.
How much of that trauma is driving what you do today?
100%. What was the point of studying 12 years in a field that actually cannot help anyone?
If your kid was going to study biotech, would you send him abroad?
Yes. If you don't visit the centers, you have half of the picture.
Where are you guys at the moment?
We are crazy, so we're doing 3 projects at the same time. Difficult decade, I can say. Funds were limited, jobs were limited in our field, no actual funding for research, so...
Welcome to the show.
Dr. Marianna is a molecular biologist and biotech founder transforming cancer care. She's not just treating disease.
For me, cancer, it's a personal bet. I will focus in as many years I have in this earth.
You're still chasing, yeah?
Yeah, I don't see an end coming soon.
Thanks, Erume, that we have all of this in Cyprus, which is a shame.
We don't support the Cypriot products.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Made in Cyprus. Big business story from a tiny island, or as many of you rebranded the podcast, Mizia Larozzi, because it's true, we are small but mighty. Today, it's a special episode. I know I tell you every time it's a special episode, but today actually is a special episode because me and the guest were trying to align the calendar for about a year and a half, and we didn't manage. We finally managed to align the calendar. I'm a busy person, but I think the guest is beyond busy. Biotech innovator, entrepreneur, award winner, Forbes 20 Women in Tech 2023, distinguished alumni, again award winner, TEDx speaker, and honestly one of the people that is driving one of the hardest and most emotional conversation that you can ever have in your life. And it's a very, very, very inspiring figure. So it's a big pleasure to finally have her on the show. Marianna Prokopi-Demetriades. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much for the introduction and also for the invitation. Finally, I'm here.
Finally, because I see you everywhere. You know, every now and then we manage to meet each other at some of the community events, whether Women in Tech or any of the other startup events. And it's always good to have you. And I wanted to have you here because I know you have a wonderful story. I know that you have your hands in many different pies as well. So very, very busy entrepreneur. So that's kudos to you. But, you know, If we look at your label from the outside, you know, we can see that you're an entrepreneur, biotech founder, speaker, scientist, you won awards, you get invited to speak at international stages. Everything looks amazing and wonderful. It almost feels like you have it all figured out. Is it true?
Nope. I couldn't say that, I'm complete now, it's the time that I can die. No, it's far from that. Especially when you are in the field of biotech and your vision is to find a cure for cancer and, improve the quality of life of patients. I'm not even in the start, so it's always a fight against time and against results, especially when you are based in a small island, but you are looking into international solutions. So it's a long way, not to success, but to succeed, and bring impact in the community and to the patients.
What's the difference between success and succeed then?
People, they have a different perspective of success. They might be financial or they want to be well known. For me, it's completely personal. To be a successful Marianna, I want to have a happy family and, to feel that I'm useful to everyone. And of course, to put a small stone to the happiness of the patients, and to improve the quality of life, because we tend to forget about what's important in our life. We tend to see, sometimes the fake image that we see in LinkedIn, social media. So what it's actually matters for me. It's to be happy, to make my surroundings happy and be useful.
Amazing. And Marianna, I know that you obviously work in a topic that it's important, increasingly important. I think it affects big number of people in our lives. I think everyone has a story with cancer. Unfortunately, those are the statistics. But like, it's not necessarily something that a child will say as an answer in school. What you want to do when you grow up. I want to beat cancer. How did you get into this journey then?
I was always fascinated by science, and I remember in my free time while I was a child, I was always checking out documentaries, not documentaries about different countries or the environment. It was always like in the medical field.
You were a geek. You were born a geek then, yeah?
I loved it, and I loved mixing different things and checking out the toy microscopes. I couldn't be like a very theoretical person. I mean, about economics, no clue. It's something that I cannot touch, I cannot see. Yeah. So with science and especially biology is something that we can always look at. You can see the side effects on your body. So for me, it was very, very fascinating that I can go into the depth of why we are alive, why we are aging, why we are dying. So yeah.
And why cancer? Why not? I don't know. Diet pills or aging or something a bit lighter?
It wasn't always about cancer. So I started like very general as molecular biology. Then I got fascinated about stem cells and tissue engineering. So I did my PhD that, but it was on cardiovascular disease. The funny thing about science is that you don't choose in your early career steps a field. It happens to be there because it has to do with funding, it has to do with grants or which PhD is available as a scholarship. So in order to select, actually there is no selection. So most of the scientists, it happened to work on a field and they follow up the steps of their professor, their supervisor. So I was in a very new field of stem cells and microRNAs in early 2000. And then I took the decision to come to Cyprus. So while I was working on the cardiovascular field, in Cyprus actually we didn't have anything about cardiovascular. And because we had some losses in the family from cancer, I think I made the decision to dedicate myself in the field.
How much of that trauma is driving what you do today?
I think 100%. Yeah, because it's completely different to study about cancer or to work in a clinic and see the patients than have the patient in your house. I live 24/7 the desperation, the side effects, the fear, the ups and downs, the hope. And for me, what was the point of studying 11 or 12 years in a field that I cannot help anyone? It's useless. So I had to rethink of what I was doing, but in a very difficult financial situation for Cyprus. We were during the economic crisis, so funds were limited, jobs were limited in our field, we had no actual funding for research, so a difficult decade, I can say.
Crazy. But so not only you were fighting your family trauma as well, but also the fact that like being not able to bring that vision to life because there was
nothing
no support back then in Cyprus, right? But and Marianna, like go like one step deeper into that. How most of us will have escaped from the conversation versus having to face it on Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, and so on. How did you manage to or did you ever struggle to challenge that trauma into work, into positivity, into a positive vision impact versus dragging you down?
You're completely right. I lost my mom when I was 9, and then my dad a month after I finished my viva for my PhD, and then my sister when I established my first company. So it was either me getting depressed and giving up about life and how unfair life can be personally to me.
Yeah.
I am a workaholic, and but also I had while my sister was dying, the last week of her life, I had a vision, and I think maybe it was part of her energy transferred to me that maybe I can put my use into something meaningful. We are here with a purpose, but we need to find our purpose. So I think that helped me a lot.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Because like, if you have a purpose that goes beyond money, right? It becomes easier also to go against those bad days. And I mean, I know you work your ass off when you were studying, and I think when you were starting as well. I think not only you did not have it easier from the family story, but also from the crisis and trying to build the companies, right? So I think what is inspirational about you is that you took that purpose, and that purpose became your fire.
Mm-hmm. I'm very passionate in whatever I'm doing. So, and because sometimes life is not fair, like I didn't have the financial aid, I didn't have a very financially comfortable family to offer me all this. You have to find a way in your life. So I was never scared of working. So while I was studying, I was working 3 or 4 different jobs, from cleaning floors in the supermarket or working in the kitchens of restaurants. But then you realize that without hard work, it's very difficult to create things. And think this is very useful for me now, that I don't give up easy. So all these lessons are very, very helpful for later in life.
Brilliant, yeah. And one of the things that I love the most when I was doing some research on you, and also when we spoke, you said that care needs a heart, and I connect with that quite closely, because my mom is also a doctor, and my brother is also a doctor, and they're both really good practitioners. My mom is a big empath. She doesn't like her patient to call her by doctor. She wants to be called by name. She gives her phone number, and a lot of the work that she does is beyond prescription, and it's more about caring and touching the patient and just being there. My brother is also brilliant, but he's more of a workaholic machine. They're both equally good. Both, they have the same results, but are from a slightly different angle, and it's true. Right, I want you to tell me a bit more. What do you personally, mean by care with the heart?
Look, the problem with science is that you are in a very protective environment, because most of the times you are working in a university, you are working in a lab, so you have your own little reality. It's completely different if you are working in a clinic, in a hospital. You are the whole day with patients.
You see them.
You see the pain, the families, the patients themselves. Everybody is tired. It's different. And different if you are part of the academia. I had the pleasure to be part of its ecosystem. So I was part of the academia, part of the researcher's life. I was working in the 2 biggest oncology centers in Cyprus. So I had a little bit of everything. And then when you have the patient in your home, you see also the side of the family. So I think this combo, instead of scaring me off and try to make me more, hard and try, to seclude myself from the pain and the sensitivity, I wanted to listen to the needs. And we have the needs of the patients, we have the needs of the families that most of the time we forget, and the family is the carer for the patients, but also we have the needs of the healthcare professionals, because they might want to do things, but they don't have the right tools. So instead of me producing something that it was just, a crazy idea in my mind that thought that, it might be useful, I listened to the patients, to the families, I saw the need, and then I asked the doctors, what do you really need in order to help? So I think it's a holistic approach of how you can see the medical field from a different angle, and that's what we try to do. It's not only produce products and actually launch in the market or sell, we try to educate both sides in asking for the needs and try to find a solution for that.
And tell me a bit more. What are the solutions you guys are working on? Because I know you're involved in more than one product. Where are you guys at the moment, and where it started? Just tell us a bit more about
We are crazy, so we're doing three projects at the same time, and they are not actually projects; they are companies. So even more difficult to try and sustain three companies, three different business models. So of course, the initial idea was to find a cure, which is it's the dream. So we established Theramir first. Theramir, it's a company that develops therapeutics based on microRNAs, but by using stem cells as a delivery vehicle. The idea was not to create something like chemotherapy that it's toxic, but something that's going to be more friendly for the patient. So we succeeded to return the cancer cells back to a normal phenotype. So we reverse cancer and we create normal cells. So this is going to be a breakthrough therapy. We are now at the stage of finalizing the preclinical testing in small animals. And we are entering a manufacturing deal with a European company to manufacture the drug and enter the first clinical trials in 2028.
Crazy. So and this is in Cyprus?
This is in Cyprus. We are targeting initially triple negative breast cancer that the 5-year survival is only 12%. And then we're expanding into pancreatic with a 5-year survival of 8%. And bladder cancer with a 5-year survival of 3%. And because we are touching the metastasis, the metastatic protection of the therapy, I think it's going to be a breakthrough. So that was the first project. The second one with Promed Biosciences, we are suppliers and developers of raw materials for tissue engineering. And also we are always touching up cancer because we provide solutions for bioprinting of artificial organs that cancer patients need. For example, when you have a woman with metastatic breast cancer, you might remove the lymphatic nodes. And after a few months, you might have lymphedema. So the lymphatic liquid cannot drain up. So we are producing the bioink based on collagen for companies that they want to bioprint lymphatic nodes. So we're working mainly with the US and South Korea in order to provide them with the material. So another important project. And the last one with RSL Revolutionary Labs that I created together with my co-founder Anna in the memory of my sister. It was an idea that came into life a few months after we lost her, was to provide comfort to the oncological patients and also patients with diabetes and other side effects. Dermatological products to alleviate the side effects from the therapies on the skin, like radiation burns, open wounds from chemotherapy. Many people, they don't know that this may be so extreme that the patients might need to stop the therapy. So when you're stopping your oncological therapy, imagine the risk in your life. So a holistic approach, I will say, to cancer.
I have goosebumps, but because obviously you're touching something deep, but also because Denkserume that we have all of this in Cyprus. I think people do not realize that there are these incredible advancements that will bring global impact happening in Cyprus. Because we always, keep talking about halloumi, real estate, hospitality, and everything, but we also have this, and I bet it would have been easier to do it somewhere else.
You are completely right. The ecosystem doesn't help us at all, except from the Research and Promotion Foundation that they try to help as much as they can. It's very difficult to find support, either financially or even when the product's in the market, for the consumers to buy it. Because
or production as well, right? You mentioned Korea now.
Yeah, I mean, now we did another, I think, silly thing. We created a manufacturing and production facility here in Limassol. I think it will be easier, faster, and cheaper if we did the production in China, India, Malaysia. But with my other partner, Kostas Pitsilidis, we thought that
you have to try.
If we do it here and create something for the newer generation. As you said, Cyprus is known for real estate, tourism, and other things. Mainly in the financial sector, but biotech, it's a no-no for Cyprus.
Right.
So we wanted to create a biocluster and have something else for the future of these children. I don't know if you know, but around 42% of the graduates from the local universities are in the life tech and life sciences sector, and then they cannot find a job.
So Thelume, we want it. We are passionate about it. Obviously, these kids want to study that. A lot, they don't have places where to bring it to life.
Abroad, and once you're abroad, it's really, really difficult to come back. So the brain drain that we say, it exists in our field.
Yeah, but you're not Cypriot.
I'm not.
What brought you here in the first place then?
Love.
It makes two of us then.
So I was born in Athens, Greece. When I was 18, I left. I went to the UK. I did all my studies there. I spent 11 years there. I found love, and
Very similar. So you also got tricked.
Yeah, completely. But I was very naive at the point, because I was, young and innocent, and thought that, wherever I go, if I work hard and with passion, life can be easy. Very difficult years once I was here.
But 2010 you came here,
yeah?
Yeah, so after the 2008, you can imagine
yes,
that.
and the financial crisis, and, a small number of universities that could, incorporate our ideas.
Yeah.
However, because I have a lot of loss in the family, Cyprus and the Cypriot community, they are so loving. I feel that they adopted me here. So even though I don't have my family are my friends, even the investors that they believed in what we did. So I'm happy that I'm here.
Yeah, again, I can relate with you. I think we spoke about it already. But one of my biggest drivers to come to Cyprus was mental health, and ironically, I ended up working more in Cyprus than in London. But I'm in a much, much happier place, whether it's the weather, the people, the food, the ecosystem. I found it very easy to integrate and be loved and be supported, which is something that you need. London, UK, beautiful places. I will always be forever grateful. But my one-liner for London is that, it gives a lot.
Yeah.
A lot also takes a lot.
Exactly.
It's a big price to pay, and here things are a bit better. And Marianna, I wanna challenge one of your beliefs. You're purpose driven. You have this core belief of science needs the heart. Science needs an application. We have products and we have treatments, but we also need to have this human connection with the people. And I love the fact that you said about bringing the back end of the scientist into the front end of the patient's life. It becomes much harder when you have VCs, when you have investments, when you have money, because generally science and scientific breakthrough, they mostly come from a good place. Maybe, the atomic bomb, sure, there was a lot of conversations in there. Even Einstein didn't want to go into it, without going too deep. How do you manage to retain control of purpose versus when money comes? Because there is also the whole conversation about pharmaceutical companies, people are profiting on pain.
Look, this is true, and it's part of the game, as I will say. We were lucky that so far we were being supported by local investors, and everybody could relate with our story and with our values. Now we are in the phase that we expand, in the phase of the growth that we start talking with VCs and pharma companies. We can see that things are changing, are more into the corporate side of things.
Yeah.
It happened to say no into people that they were completely different. They didn't align with our values. So that was a big hit financially to us and to the companies. But I'm trying to be authentic, and I'm trying to always find a balance between the survival of the company and putting in the market a product that actually works and helps. So this is going to be always not a problem, a subject that we have to handle. The good thing is that we try to surround ourselves with either consultants or investors, shareholders that they share the same values, and they are there either to protect us or to support us. Of course, now the game is more difficult, more advanced, but I have high hopes, and I'm always trying to be very positive. Because without positivity, then there is an end. I mean, what's the point to continue? So I'm sure that we will find the right partners to continue.
And what is your suggestion, your tips to someone in a similar situation? You know, purpose driven, has a good product, needs funding. What did you learn in this journey? You know, the good partner versus the bad partner.
It's a partner in crime. It's a marriage that you do. So whoever you're gonna choose, it's gonna stuck with you forever. At some point, we had to buy out a few people that they didn't align with what we're doing. So it was a lesson to learn.
You thought they were aligned, but then you realized they weren't, or they changed along the way?
No. They didn't change along the way. I think it was a bad... we didn't see through. We were younger. It was early days that we had the companies. And don't forget that when you are a scientist without a proper professional financial or business education...
You're just trying things.
You try things. You have to learn the hard way. But that's how life is. We try to avoid these mistakes in the future, but it's difficult.
Yeah. What would you say was the lesson in there then? If you had to say, if you had to say to someone else a tip to avoid partnering up with someone wrong?
Start fundraising when you don't need the money. Because
when you don't need it.
Because when you need the money, it's going to be too late. Fundraising might take from 9 to a year and a half. Yeah. So for me, you need to have different options in order to choose. When you are desperate for money, you're going to get whatever is there available to you. So it's
and
not
then you
a
will
good...
regret it.
Yes.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Is it... Oh, I don't know if you know how to answer that, but like, do you think it's harder to fundraising what you do versus, I don't know, fintech or something?
For sure, especially in Cyprus, because we don't have either well-educated investors in the field, because the interest is mainly in fintech, AI, even robotics.
It's a bit easier to topics that are a bit easier to understand, probably.
And also for us, we need partners that they know the field. They can open up doors. They can offer us the network, or they can offer us, partnerships in exactly the field. So it's not about money. It's also about strategic partnerships, and it's extremely difficult to find it in Cyprus.
Where is your investment money coming from now then? Where do you have the most success?
So far, we raised among all the companies around 6 to 7 million.
Yeah.
They were all local people.
Wow.
Yeah. So we started with very, very small amounts in the start when we didn't even have a patent. And we went up to more corporate investors. So it's a range. The past year, we had great support from groups like ASBIS, that we are based now also in their building, Kinesis Ventures and Lanitis Group and a few other family offices. But most of the people were friends that they were supporting us. Business women and businessmen that they wanted to give something back to the society through our project. So that's why I say in Cyprus you can find people that they can fall in love with a project and support you. Yeah,
which these are people that not necessarily wouldn't invest in biotech on an average Monday morning, right?
Yeah.
No. And So how much did it change from 2010 now to 2025 in terms of the biotech and the scientific community in Cyprus?
It's blooming. We have many projects coming to life from younger generation as well. But the problem that I foresee is that many projects are getting back up in the initial phases, but not many of them expand and grow.
Why? Is it a problem of the project that had shorter legs than expected, or the investment gets cold feet?
I think it's the mindset as well, the culture, the preparation of the teams. Most of them are parts of universities, young researchers, so you can bring the project into scientific life, but to take the project into the business world, it's completely different. So we need support there, but there are many accelerators, many scientific and financial people that they can consult and help. The problem is that we don't have access to funds for growth, so it's something that it stops the projects from becoming a reality. So we support early on phases, but we don't have enough money to support for the later phases and until the product is in the market. Don't forget that for biotech, you need a vast amount of investment in order to put something to the market, because from an idea to become a prototype, to produce it, to test it either in clinical trials or smaller trials and case studies, to pilot test it and put it in the market,
I guess.
You might need from initiation to finalization 8 years. So the amounts of money that are available for that are small. The ideas are many. So there is an imbalance there.
It looks like there is a bridge missing to close the gap between academia and business in a way, which I know it's a global problem. It's a European problem. In US, they're doing it wonderfully, right? Because they have these ecosystems where the university campus and the actual business campus is in the same. Silicon Valley was actually founded by businesses, so it was all that ecosystem. Study, develop, then go straight into work. Then those work money goes back into the uni ecosystem. Right? Was beautiful. I know Europe, UK, Cambridge, and Exnes and Exeter and all those kind of like biotech hubs in the UK. They're trying to do that. Cyprus is still struggling, I guess, on that.
Yes, even though we see a big turn into that model, and also we see that Europe trying to push every little part of the European Union to do the same. I'm positive, even though I see that this is a little bit slower than it's supposed to be. But the problem is that if you delay more, all this money that you invested in the early phase, they're going to be lost. Because who is going to be unpaid and for how many years? I mean, for us, while we are establishing the companies, we're working 3 and 4 different jobs to support. So this is not a model that will work in the long term. And the other thing is that as Cypriots, unfortunately, we don't support the Cypriot products. We always love to bring in the products from abroad, very well-known brands. So this is problematic. And if projects are having Cyprus as the first market that they want to enter, I think it's a completely difficult assumption and wrong.
It's so true. Funny that you said it, because I work a lot with local brands as well, usually local brands that have also an international footprint. And in a lot of our research, we found that out. I think it's a bit like a Mediterranean thing. Even in Italy, even though Italy, where I grew up, we have wonderful products. Big tradition in fashion, automotive design, and etc. We still like to spit on the plate that feeds us. We will say, "Oh, this is bad. Oh, that is bad," but we love it living in there, right? So Italians hate to love Italy, but love to love Italy. It's that compromise. And in Cyprus, in a similar way, sometimes the products that we actually do in Cyprus are superior than German, Italians, Greek, or whatever. But still, we have that. I think it's cultural. It's an island mentality, right? I think we still think like it was like, I don't know, 300 years ago, and we didn't have anything, and everything was imported, which is a shame.
It's a shame. I mean, with RSL now, we have entered the market in Australia, Nigeria, Tanzania, and Kenya. Now we're entering the Gulf countries, and you start questioning yourself. I mean, how my product can be found in Australia and in Cyprus is so difficult to convince people.
Yeah.
It's something that I think it has to change, because even though Cyprus is a very small market, the support, even the psychological support that people are behind these products and behind this, very difficult try to make something exist in Cyprus, it's very important.
Yeah, I think the Chamber of Commerce should start thinking about some sort of long-term strategy into support Cyprus by Cypriot first, and the Italians has it, the French have it, the German have it. I think I haven't seen a lot of pride and love into the local produce, and I know there are some terrific products and terrific brands in here. If your kid was going to study, medicine or science or biotech, would you send him or send her abroad?
Yes, and I will tell you why. Cyprus is small. I would love for them to come back here and spend the rest of their life here, but I want them to see what's going on around us. I know that now we are becoming very, very international. Populations are coming and are leaving. But I think to have a look of what's going on surrounding you, either in the States or EU or even Asia, I think it's very important to take as much as possible for what's going on there. If they want to do their first degree here in Cyprus, we have amazing universities, amazing academics, but I will push them for sure to do at least 1 year abroad, try to live their life. I mean, I came in Cyprus when I was 30. So I strongly believe that you have to travel. You have to see what's going on, and especially in fields like the biotech, if you don't visit the centers that the innovation happens, then you have half of the picture. For me, to be in London and then I traveled to Germany, I spent some time in Germany as well. You see the breakthroughs, you see the big names, and then you realize that you are not different than them. So if you can do it in the UK, or if you can do it in the US, you can do it in Cyprus.
Yeah, it's true. I think, and I love it. I think one of the things that I started to look into the CVs when we're hiring is I started dropping universities, and like I'm looking into more if they have actual on-field, out of Cyprus experience as well. And I think that will help as well. They will help understand, the erhume, tin and erhume. It will help appreciate a bit more, simple things of lives as well. Because the easiest thing for humans, unfortunately, to start appreciating things is when they lose them. So when you lose Cyprus, you start to see what was good, what was bad. When I lost, I left from Armenia, and then we came to Italy. I left Italy to UK, and UK to Cyprus. Every single time, when I was leaving, I fully appreciated, what was in there, what wasn't in there. But the challenge, I guess, is to take these people back. One of the guests that we have in here is Paul Lampis from the Cyprus Diaspora Forum, and he created all this event to help connect the diaspora, having them coming back, because Cypriots are everywhere. You mentioned Australia.
Yes.
There's a huge community.
Yeah, and actually we collaborated with a Greek in Australia that I found through the Greek diaspora of Boston.
Here we go.
In Mani. So it was, yes, they are there to give you, a helping hand, to promote you, to support you. So it's a big power, power, the Greeks and Cypriots of diaspora.
Yeah. Marianna, lovely chat. Really, really loved it. And I think my last question for you is like, what are you still trying to figure out now? What are you still, working on, whether professionally or personally? What's your main focus?
difficult question. Tax. It's always to find a way to balance your personal needs and prioritize.
Because 3 companies plus you're super active in talks and events. You are really collaborating to a lot of events, and I see you around. And I know you're not doing it from a need perspective. You're doing it because you get called and people want to listen to your story. From an inspirational point of view. Yeah, how the heck do you manage that? Like 3 companies plus all of that, like super busy.
Yeah, and I will put on also the family, because for me it's really important, because I grew up without a proper family. So for me it's the number one. To have a family, and also in the office I would like to say that we are a family, and care for each other and support for each other. So it will be great if I could find a balance that I can do my work without having the financial stress and the stress of don't lose what you have created so far. For me, it's really, really important. And now that the time passes, then everything becomes more expensive. To be stable and have a routine, for me, it's gonna be the dream.
You don't have it now.
I don't have
You're
a routine.
Still chasing, yeah?
Yeah.
That's like 15 years of chasing.
Yes.
Wow.
And I don't see an end coming soon. But it's always a challenge, and that keeps me, up at the night as well.
It's addictive in a way.
Yes,
though.
it is addictive.
Would you be able to go to a 9 to 5?
No, I was never like that. I think I will die at work, as an old professor told me. He said that, Marianna, you know that you will never retire, because that's how I work. I wake up at 4 in the morning and sending emails to myself with new ideas. So
in a way, there is no balance then.
Yes.
Like, when people say work-life balance.
Yeah. No. There is no balance. But I would love to have an hour for myself, or an hour to go and walk and appreciate Cyprus. And even though I'm trying every year to change this program, it's still problematic.
Even Sundays?
Yes. If you saw, on Saturday I was in another event. Well, it's a puzzle.
Thank you very much for your time. I mean, I know how busy you are, but I wanted to people to listen to your story. I wanted people to listen where you're coming from, because what are you doing and who you become, and the journey, I think, was beautiful, but also inspirational, but also showcases that if you believe enough, obviously you can do it. But also, even when life throws you shit tons of shit, you can still come back up. You can come back up stronger. And I think your story is one of those stories that every single one trying to build something should listen, because entrepreneurship, the highs are very high, but the lows also can be very, very low. And if you don't find a way to deal with those lows, it's going to eat you alive. And I think no one else that I know in my network managed to deal with that in a better way than yourself. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'll see you next time, guys. If you haven't subscribed, if you haven't liked, if you haven't told your about this podcast, now is a good time to tell this. Please, we keep ourselves going by you supporting us. So if you enjoyed this episode and the others, please do spend 30 seconds to support our channel. Tell a friend, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you.